let me get this out of the way. This okay. Um, we've been always very inspired by the natural processes, the way nature builds, and propolis is actually one of the building materials, the most amazing building materials, or the ones that inspire me the most. It's made by bees, and it has multiple qualities, from pharmaceutical qualities, to for instance, the Egyptians were using propolis to embalm the mummies. For instance, when a predator gets into a beehive, the bees will start producing propolis, and they will make a mummy. Let's say, in this case, would be a rat mummy that is there too. So, but the fact that touches me the most is the way that nature goes and fetches materials that are available, and with a minimal manufacturing, they make these materials really smart and useful. And so bees go to the trees, to parts of the trees, rebentos, I don't know how to say rebentos, the sprouts, and they take this specific resin that is a fungicide and is resistant to microbes and insects, and they make their own resin to protect the hive, so to protect the city, to make the life possible as a society, okay, as a bee society. So these are images of propolis, and so that's the way I've started to work early. I mean, not early, some 12 years ago, after being having some education with the artists and builders. I came to Portugal, and we started making this library of Portuguese soils, not for specific scientific reasons, but for everything in one. You see, I mean, when science merges with society and with culture, that's when it becomes an act of wealthiness, and beneficial to all. So we started getting these samples and making these samples into plasters, and started to feel and to understand how raw earth can both inspire your knowledge, your intellect, as much as your doings and your actions as an architect, engineer, or a builder. So the first commissions we got were to make earth flooring, which was a great struggle, because it's not easy to compact the earth, because as you know, it will run away, and as you compact here, it will bounce somewhere else. And then so we've been on a trial and error research, and we finally started supplying this service of making earth floorings. But we cheated a little bit, because we broke the flooring into this wooden rectangles to make it more feasible. Otherwise, it was very difficult. We then went on and researching on plasters, how to make plasters, earthen plasters, water resistant, not with mineral binders, but adding oils and resins. That's a field that's very interesting, and I've been working on this. And as a way to prepare our building sites, we used to make models, and from models we go into the building site, and then then you start truly researching, and we've made several buildings that are just fetching materials from the site. In this building, for instance, as we digged the ground level, we found that the building was on top of a clay. How do you say this? Filão de argila, a clay river, let's say, and which was common, that people would say their buildings on top of clay strata, not deep clay, but just the superficial clay strata, because all the all the water questions in the foundations were sort of solved, and so we found this beautiful clay plaster, the clay material, which we turn into a plaster, and so we use this extensively as much as we can to respond to the building elements, walls, ceilings, roofs, etc. And from here we started to research. I mean, I show you models because this is an elemental tool for me, a research tool, not as a scientific tool as you know it, but as an inquisition tool, a way to open your mind into solutions and try to navigate possibilities. And then we went on, especially making wineries, which is a very special kind of promoter, clients, the winemakers, because they have a sense of time that is very special. And still on this research and this involvement with the clay, with earth building, we made a building, a small, all of them very small buildings, but let's say very experimental. We made this building with compact earth blocks, but made from compacted granite sediments, which is something, as you know, very hard to compact without adding a lot of hydraulic binder into it. So we've partnered with the Universidade do Minho. They were working on ativação alcalina, and so we made this building with the compact earth blocks. I think perhaps, I mean, the only one I know in the north of Portugal, because this technology is mostly used in the south. We complement the building with ship pools and other experimentations, to the point that some art curators and cultural institutions start to look at this work and they say, well, this has some value. I mean, some social cultural value, and they invite us to join their museum houses. And so as a preparation to an exhibition at Gulbenkian, we made this, we used the same blocks for this private house I just showed to you. We made some catenary arches. We tested them first in a model, then we test them in a real site. We loaded them very empirically, and empirically, I mean enough empirically. And then we finally, you know, got the arch into the art gallery, and there's an understanding that comes from the process of doing that I prize very much. Well, from this point, I got a client who said, you know, I have this small house in the city center of Porto. Can you renew it? And I said to myself, maybe it's the time to do it only with earth, only with raw earth. So we made this. So we had to solve the questions of flooring. I mean, the compacted earth flooring is very, very expensive, and it's tricky in many senses. So we started to compact earth bricks into mosaics and use those mosaics for flooring. So we made this our own press machine to compact mosaics. And this is actually the room with the mosaics on the floor. I mean, you don't see them very well, I guess, because the picture is not, it's not very good quality. But apart from flooring questions, we had the walls and the ceilings and bathrooms. And so as you can see in this picture, you have different layers in a wall. You can see the same earth. We bought 14 big bags of earth to make the building, and we completed the building with 12 big bags. So there were 2 leftovers. And we explored that which raw earth allows you for, which is to work with acidic materials, with animal and vegetable proteins, with oils and resins. So in this building, we actually explored, starting this exploration into vegetable materials, oils. I mean, I'm just showing you ceilings and floors, the way we reuse the existing wood. And perhaps in this one picture, you can see in the lavatory niche, you can see it's darker. It's not only darker because it's darker because it has been oiled. We used oil impregnated into the earth. The earth has to be basic or slightly alkaline, but not too much, otherwise it will react with the oil. And we use the linseed oil and other oils, also essential oils, to preserve the wood as a way to make the earthen plaster or earthen render more effective. Um, these are pictures of the same building. You see the bottom part of the walls are heavily impregnated with oils. The top part of the walls is just raw earth. Then the ceiling we use vime. Vime is reed, okay, from rivers, from wetlands. Uh, we also kept, of course, all the tabik, as Esmeralda was nicely putting the importance of this. And well, at the end, I'm very happy with this experience. My client as well, happily, also for me, that it went well. I mean, you see all these red glasses because we use beeswax as a symbol of the of this construction that is directed to nature and society. So construction as a tool for a social sculpture. Okay, so we've been working with the beeswax as a ornamental element as well, and dreaming about building something with straw. I mean, we never got to build with straw or straw bales, so we made models of it, and we thought of this, you know, how would it be? But then suddenly we got the opportunity to build with hemp, with the hemp stalk, commonly called the hempcrete, but it's not more than a sort of adobe, vegetable adobe, let's say. These are discussions I have with Bruno often, and so we first tried it on a maquette, on a model. This is the building, so it's existing part of the building, the first 2 floors, and then the top part of the building we added this hemp construction. So we kept all the bottom floors. We found some beautiful paintings. We kept them all, and then we added this hempcrete blocks and hempcrete concretes, let's say adobe sort of concretes, to the walls in different fashions. I can show to you, for instance, this is a wall. You see many cracks, many things went wrong, many things went fine, well, but nothing was neutral, basically. You see the cracks in this high wall, this 8 meters, some 5-6 meters high wall. This is so-called hempcrete, and something what you can see, which is a mixture of the hemp stalks with lime and clay. We use clay as a pozzolana. We fetch this is pink or kind of orange pink because the metacalino clay we found here in Portugal at hand is this one color. So we go for the color of the materials. But something that you might notice is that the building is wrapped on the cloth, on the textile. We started researching on textile as a formwork for hempcrete, because hempcrete has a lot of friction inside. So you can just pour it into the formwork and remove the formwork immediately. You don't have to wait. And so we start to realize that if you have a textile, it works perfectly as a formwork. So this building that is done is an experiment of a kind. You don't find possibly many of these, not only in Portugal, I guess, but one of the reasons I say this is because the building was once wrapped in a textile. You see it on the left side of the picture. This is Juta textile. And so in order to get there, we make one-to-one samples, prototypes, and then many people involved, of course, basically the builders. I mean, my suppliers, the people who work with me in the building site, they have to test this, and they take part in the making of it, as much as academics and technicians of all kinds. But then we also got to this point that we made hemp bricks. This was in 2019. Okay, so 5 years ago, man. Huh? Yeah, it's 5 years ago. So the hemp bricks were also very revealing. I mean, very fast to build with, very effective in all senses, and particularly that we recycle everything in the site. I mean, all the hempcrete that is left over, we bring it into a machine that recycled it back into hemp blocks. I will not extend myself too much on this. I'll just drop you some pictures. These are tests with plasters and renders. We did not know how how to do this. I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, we don't know yet because it's been too short the time. It's 5 years or 4 years. I mean, 3 years since the building is finished. It's not enough to say I know something about plastering hempcrete. But anyways, I mean, we've went from experiment to experiment, and we draw our conclusions. These are small houses, also part of the same building. The initial building I showed to you, it has a big garden, and in this garden we have 6 studios. These houses I'm showing to you, they're all, the wood bearing structure and concrete blocks. This is a picture of a model. I mean, the model these models we make before we go to the building site, so you can sort of embody the building before it exists. You bring it into your mind and into your hands. I mean, also, well, I mean, this is the machine to destroy the hempcrete. It's this kind of barrels, turning barrels with iron balls inside. That's what we used to make, and this is the machine to make the blocks. These are our blocks production. Some pictures, I guess they are. I doubled the pictures. Well, and we got to the point that we start to use oils into the hemp stalks, into the wood, because we all know that wood, when with oils or resins or waxes, it's a perfect mix. It gets new properties, characteristics, qualities. So we went this way of making hempcrete resistant to the outside, to the exterior aggressions and rain, funguses. And so we started working on this multiple layered block, which I wish I can show to you. I mean, if I go back into these pictures, I might spot one of these multi-layered blocks, but no, sorry, I haven't brought any to the presentation. A mistake of mine. I mean, it's just one of these blocks, but with, let's say, 2 layers. Okay, one layer is meant to oh, here you can see, at the second part of the building is blue. Okay, it has a blue layer into it, and that blue layer was an indigo layer. So we added indigo just as a trial, just to see how it works. We added indigo into one layer of the block to get into this kind of grayish, bluish effect. And then we said, okay, for the inside, we see we can get nice results. Now let's deal with the outside of the blocks. So with the exterior layer of the blocks, let's use the how do you call it? Charred wood. So charcoal wood. So we started burning the hemp stalks and trying to add charcoal. So we took out the clay. We add some charcoal pozzolana, vegetable charcoal, and at that point, an art curator comes to us and say, "Hey, I want to make an exhibition on this on our contemporary art museum." So the first thing we made, we never made a 3-layer block, with the inside layer, middle layer, and outside black layer. We went immediately to these black blocks, which we call the charcoal blocks or black hemp, and we made this one building. I mean, we were astonished with the acoustics, and also throughout this research, we realized these blocks have some electromagnetic properties which are worth researching. In terms of how it's a nanoporous material, so it behaves in a very particular way with electromagnetic waves, frequencies, specific frequencies. So well, we made this very high walls, and this is a black slide. Okay, and then here's the model of the exhibition, the the curator. Well, then we got a client, and this client said, you know, I want to build with hempcrete. I want to do something special. I opened for it, so I said, well, let's recycle the exhibition into your house. So we first made our prototype of the house, and then we broke out these big walls I've shown to you. These ones, we broke them down, and we made some sort of let's say a prefab masonry wall. So we brought these walls into the building, and you know, we've got somewhere. I mean, it's the building is standing there as it is, not as this picture I showed to you. Here you can see the blocks. We've how do you call? We've lifted them and fit them into the structure. Now oh, here you can see the structure bare without the blocks. So it's a mix of wood and steel structure of the building. And at this point, the building has been plastered. Yes, we kept the existing building, which are these stone walls in the bottom, and now at this point we've already filled the inside of the building with some poured hemp. We used the wool at the last layer of the formwork to finish the last layer of the formwork. You can see there's some wool fitted behind the wood. And well, at this point, the building has been plastered with the lime plaster, and I wish in a short time I can show you this finished building. Well, this is the presentation I prepared for you. I hope you enjoyed it.